Good morning, friends. It's Vicki. I'm over at my terrace house, and the garden is starting to look so pretty. Can't wait. So let's talk about what we're seeing here. These little white flowers are Bacopa. These are an annual that I just planted in. I don't know if you remember last year, I liked them so much. I said I'm going to add a lot more this year. So I did pick up 12 of them. I think last year I had done 4, like 2 on this side and 2 all the way down at the end. So this year I've just kind of dotted them a little bit more through. We've got our peonies that are all budded up and will be starting to open up here pretty soon. You guys actually missed this, my bad. This is Jade Parade Sand Cherry. It already bloomed its little white flowers. It's one of the very first things to bloom in my yard in spring. And then these right here are the cat mint. I think they were Cat's Meow. I'll have to look back at my tapes, but I know they're one of the cat mint varieties. And then over here we have my sage that's starting to grow back from the dead from last year. So I talked about in the past letting this, like every year I chop it down like this because it looks super terrible. And I talked about not doing that and just letting the stems be tall and letting the green grow back from the stems. I thought that that would work so that I could get it to flower, but actually that will not work because all of the stems that grow straight up just get killed by our winters. So I have to cut them all the way back. However, I did have one stem that was kind of laying down underneath the pile. And so this one was protected over winter, and I did leave that because I'm just curious to see if that'll bloom. So aside from that, I have this little, I don't know what it's called, some sort of sedum creeper. I think it's so pretty. It's probably something I shouldn't let spread that much, but I mean, honestly, I like it. It's preventing weeds, and you know, I filled this whole terrace with it, and then it's been dropping down and just starting to spread along this one. And I just think it's so charming, especially when everything fills in and you can't even really see the mulch anymore. Just to have that sedum creeping over the edge and pop of chartreuse. I did plant some of my, sorry. Excuse me, I knew it was coming. I did plant some of my sweet potato vines today, so they are still small and pathetic looking, but these will cover the edges there eventually. I did also decide I'm going to plant something evergreen here, like that creeping juniper. I want to see if I can get something that I don't have to wait for it to grow back every year to cover up that space. Or like I've said in the past, I could just look into replacing these, but frankly, I'm too lazy and cheap. I never get around to it. So someday it'll happen, but probably not this year. That is a same as that one, different type, Artemisia. That's I think that's silver lining, and this one I want to say is like, I don't know, it's a mounding type. It just kind of has this frilly soft appearance, and then it just grows out longer and longer as the season goes on. Here's some yarrow coming back. That should be the orange type that turns yellow. Here is my hibiscus that is growing back from the ground there. I did have some oregano back there last year. If you guys remember, I wanted it to like kind of stand up tall and then cascade over, and I thought it would look really pretty behind and going around my hibiscus. But what I didn't really count on is that it didn't get nearly enough sun, so that just didn't happen. So I decided to move my oregano up to my new terrace wall that's up there that I'll show you guys. This is Snow and Summer, which is really cute. I think this is its second year. I don't know the names of all of my sedums, but I just collect a ton of sedums because I just like them, and they come back every year. I know I said this last year, but this is going to be coming out. This is the orange ditchweed. It is invasive in our area, so I need to remove all of the clumps and tubers and everything and replace that with something else. And I will be on the lookout for what I'm going to put there here shortly. In front of that, this is purple Veronica. I have some daisies kind of sprinkled in here. This is a weed, and then something else. I don't know what that is growing with the weed. Maybe, gosh, I don't know. I'm gonna have to wait for that to get bigger. It almost looks like rosemary, but I doubt that would be. And I don't know what that is. Anyway, in here I have some pincushion flower. I'm gonna pause my video. All right, I'm gonna try to pick up where I left off. I'm not really sure. A bunch of builders showed up and I didn't feel like talking in front of them, so I just paused. Anyway, got some daisies coming back here from last year. I still don't know what this plant is, but it had beautiful purple flowers and it seems to be spreading, so I love that. I did notice that it's getting woody stems. And so some things that get woody stems, if you don't cut them back, they get like woody and leggy and then they kind of look bad and die out, like lavender. But other things, if they have woody stems and you cut them back, it can make them not grow back again. So I didn't really know what to do since I don't know what this is. I did take a chance and go ahead and cut it back somewhat shorter. So hopefully that was the right choice. Gosh, right now the star of the show has to be the salvia, the purple salvia up there in front of my purple iris, which are also looking beautiful, and lots more buds still yet to open. I have some pink salvia right there that's just starting to open up, and then again that's the Artemisia, makes that nice silver kind of accompanying flower. My lamb's ear hedge is coming back from last year. Hopefully just these couple little spots will fill in better this year. Down here, do you remember last year I moved this wormwood, which is another kind of Artemisia, was like up here somewhere. It was like in the front and I didn't like it. It was too big and it was shaped perfectly like a ball. So I transplanted it back there. And it didn't look good last year after I transplanted it, but I had a feeling it would come back and just, you know, look like nothing ever happened. It's not quite the same round shape. Like it seems to be kind of laying out or spreading more horizontally, but that's okay. I think it looks pretty. Got some little allium bulbs popping up back there, some pink salvias. We have yarrow, and then this is kind of the start of my salvia and cactus, or not salvia, sedums and cactus. Here is an iberis in bloom. Those are cute. And again, this is more of that bacopa flower that I told you that I planted. So the annual continued down that way. Let's see, got some lilies coming up here. Just a bunch of cactus sedums. I don't know the names of all of them. And then over here we have another salvia that's a little behind. It's also purple though. And then we've got more yarrow. This is my pink and red clump. I have some black-eyed Susans coming back there. There is some more of that oregano that I haven't transplanted yet, but I do plan to also transplant that up to my new terrace. And then this is the end of this row, repeating the catmint, bacopa, potato plant wherever we have the broken tiles. I haven't decided what I'm going to do with these two or those two yet. I'm going to change that up. The 4 o'clocks just haven't really been working out there. On the second row I can see my Russian sage is popping up. This plant right here that's looking like a little bush, pretty sure that's Veronicastrum, so I think it'll have a white tall spiky flower. And then those two kind of, I don't know how to describe them in the back, two little clumps. Those are, I think it's globe something. They're like little little blue balls. I'll have to show you or I'll try to find a picture to pop up. There's more of that orange ditchweed that I need to remove that is invasive. And then in there you can see my very first time it's blooming Baptisia plants. I'm going to add more of that. In fact, I think I'm going to remove all of this orange ditchweed this year, and I'm going to try to find some more of the Baptisia, that are already further along, so they'll be similar, because I've been waiting. This is like the third year on that one. It's finally blooming, so I don't want to have to wait for the new ones that I'm planting, but I think I'll fill in that area up there. I have one little red anemone plant, but if you remember last year I planted a bunch of red ones. I think they're all along this way, and then I did white in the middle, I believe, and then red on that opposite side as well. if I got that wrong, then it's backwards. It might be red in the middle with white on both sides. So we'll see. But anyway, we should start seeing those pop up, and those are really pretty. There's a bird in my flower bed hopping around. You guys probably can't see it. This plant with the red foliage right here is Gaura, pink Gaura. And then you probably can barely see it behind the lamb's ear. There's a green little mounding plant that is the orange mums that I planted last year that were labeled as perennials, and they were only like, I want to say 99 cents a piece or $1.99 a piece. They were very cheap. And so I planted, I think 5 or 6 of those in a little row. I might have to move them because I think they're too close to the lamb's ear as well as the Gaura. There's a little bird, super cute. I'm gonna see if I can zoom in. He must be after worms. You see him hopping around? Oh, I scared him, he flew away. Darn it. Okay, that is pretty much the end of this terrace garden. Let me pause and I will take you upstairs. All right, I'm not gonna show you guys a ton of stuff because everything looks pretty rough up here due to all of the construction and everything, but I do want to show you this terrace. So one unexpected thing that has happened with this whole build is that we now have an extra terrace wall, and wasn't planning on it, but I do love the look of a terrace wall, so I'm not mad about it. And what I decided I'm going to do is plant, sorry, I'm out of breath. I want to plant a bunch of perennial herbs and natives and things like that along the front of this terrace, some of which I want to spill over the front, some of which will just be pretty in the background. And then I want to see if I can get the sidewalk to be built close right up along the terrace, because it's a really nice level to sit at. And I could see myself just taking a seat here, you know, multiple times a day when I need a break. So anyway, some of the stuff that I had planted last year is coming back, like my obedient plant. There's a carrot there. There's some wild violet. This looks like a hydrangea plant. None of this stuff along this back row got harmed, so all of that stuff will be coming back fine. There's, I need to cut it back, the old dead stuff, but there's milkweed coming back up over there. My rose, which will get moved once we have the backyard fenced in, but for now it's still there. Anyway, I'm not going to go over what all of this is again. Here's more irises. I just want to let you know that basically the idea for here is I'm going to add more to my screening row. I'm going to remove the ones that the deer have been killing, which is these particular type of green arbs. They like to eat them and rub on them and all kinds of stuff. So there are some other ones that they don't go after as much. So I'm going to try switching those out for some more deer resistant varieties. So again, I will be adding more to my screening wall back here, and then I will be adding more herbs and perennials and natives to the front here. I want to kind of have like a tea garden or an herb garden that I can just step right outside of my, you know, kitchen or my front door and grab something real quick if I needed to. So that's kind of my thought for that area. And look at the pretty color on that smoke bush. They get so big. I'm probably gonna have to cut that back down to like that level every year. In fact, I should have already done that. It's probably not too late. I could probably just come in and do that real quick, but I don't feel like it today. All right, everybody, I'm gonna take off. I hear the workers inside doing stuff. I'll try to get you another update on the house soon, but I don't really want to go in there when it's full of people. And they are actually being productive now, so let them do their thing. But the roof is done. The walls and windows are up. The plumbing, all the footings are in. The people are here to do the electrical and the HVAC system, I believe. Let me go around the corner and see if that's already in, because I think it is. By the way, this bed looks terrible, but there are actually a lot of pretty things in here that I will show you once I get it weeded and stuff. I'll go over that in more detail, but No, this is our old air conditioner. So I don't know. I guess they're still working on that, but we're getting a new HVAC system as well. So that will be cool. Sorry for what a disaster this part of my yard is, but this was in the kind of construction zone. Okay, guys, I'm gonna let you go. I will talk to you with my next update here in probably, I don't know, a few days. Now that we're getting into the time of year when everything starts looking pretty, I'm gonna be doing a lot more videos. So we'll talk soon. Bye.